And the fact is, some of those last responders are at additional risk these days. There's a next viewer who wrote into us concerned about her daughter. She's a funeral director on the Western Slope, and she wondered whether her daughter needs to be taking special precautions around people who have died of COVID-19. 9 Health's Dr. Payal Kohli says that's true.
Even though they're not breathing, it is possible that you could come into contact with contaminated secretions. Therefore, it is critically important, if you're a healthcare worker doing a post-mortem or a funeral home worker such as a mortician or staff dressing the body, that you use extreme caution and full personal protective equipment when handling the body.